spirit and part of this develop, and they're going to help us, because again, this was sort of asked of us last time. What are some examples, you know, that are already out there that might, again, help us visualize and begin to quantify what can happen over a period of time? So we have an example in country and one globally, because these exist elsewhere than the United States of America. So who's going first?
Thank you, Jim. Just to provide you a bit of context on why are we here. Our role at MTC, the German Innovation Institute, which is the economic development division of the Mass Technological Laboratory, is really to work at the intersection of industry, academia, and government to try to maximize the potential of research, innovation, and entrepreneurship in the state for the economic development of the citizens of the country. So we are, this project falls squarely into our role in the Commonwealth. In this sense, we're working closely with the partners in this project, the Higher Education Consortium, the Commonwealth, the task force, all of you, to try to help the partners think through about what are the potential economic development benefits, the public benefits of the HPCC project. Right now, we're tasked with a very specific thing, which is to try to develop the questions, the menu of things that we need to be asking a potential consultant coming to the table to help everyone formulate what these public benefit economic development and mechanisms to achieve it might look like. So we're going to alternate colleague Paul Kiesler and myself in going through this. And I'm going to start just by framing a little bit of what's going on here. If you see the title of the presentation is Reinventing Regional Economies. Why is that title there? Because we believe, and I think all of you would agree, that this is the opportunity and the challenge that is right now in the horizon. What we have right now is really a historic alignment of civic leadership, of organizations, of resources, and a vision that is underway in Holyoke and Valley. And the HPCC is only one of the pieces, and a very critical one, as you can, I think, have seen already, in catalyzing this alignment and this process. But the question that we are all being asked here is, how do we mobilize this alignment to reinvent the local and regional economies? That is a fundamental question that I would like to suggest is a question that we need to keep in mind. And in order to help us think through and to inspire and to get us to the questions that we would like your input on, we're going to discuss two examples to learn from others. One of them is the example of North Carolina's business triangle, which Bob will discuss. It is one of many examples in the United States of economies that have leveraged research and innovation to change their economic development trajectories. Other ones include, for example, the upstate South Carolina, which became the home of the textile industry that left Massachusetts years ago, and then that industry left, and now they are turning themselves into an automotive center, automotive research center. The Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania. And in Europe, there are multiple examples. The one that then, after Bob, I'm going to discuss is the one of a city region in Finland, which is the city of Tampere. And we're going to see why we made that choice, because there are some interesting analogies and some interesting inspiration there as to how we might want to think about it. So with that, I turn it to Bob.
Let me just remind everyone of what what's coming later on, 3 questions. Because as we go through this, I don't think we're going to be answering these directly, but I'm hoping that you're going to be able to read between the lines of what we're telling you with these examples, and start to think about more and more how you answer these questions. And the questions are: what does reinventing local or regional economy mean to you? What are some ongoing efforts to reinvent the economy locally that need to be accounted for and integrated into a comprehensive reinvention strategy? And then finally, what are the categories of assets and aspirations of the city and region to be incorporated in the request for proposals. That's what we're trying to get to. Now, these three examples, actually, chronologically, they're laid out the way they occurred in the Raleigh-Durham area, Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill area, if you will, of North Carolina. The way that we're approaching this here in Holyoke actually is starting from the bottom and working the other way. We're going to have to look at this as a very, very different kind of process here. But I'm hoping that by the time we're finished today, we'll have some idea of how these examples relate to the questions that you're going to have. Research Triangle Park. Basically, it's an enormous real estate project. And you'll get a little bit better feeling for just how enormous that is in a moment. But it was really brought about as a nonprofit initiative of the university systems, public and private, in North Carolina, and the business community to try to establish a different framework for doing business in North Carolina. Centennial Campus is a segment of North Carolina State University, and you'll see a little bit more about that, including some pictures of some of you may have seen in the past. And then finally, the Renaissance Computing Institute, which is, some of you may have heard the acronym RENC. This is the equivalent of what the HBCC is that we're looking at. Okay. So, what's Research Triangle Park all about? In the late 50s, North Carolina was looking at a situation where basically all their industries were aging, had less and less knowledge component to them. They could see the direction the future was likely to lead if they kept dealing basically with pulp and paper, woodworking, textiles, and so forth. This was not the economy that they could see unfolding and creating growth in the region. What they felt they needed that they didn't have in North Carolina, in this particular instance, was research and development. They could sense, I think, perhaps in hindsight, but the facts were all there at the time, research and development was something that was changing.